So here with us now is TV personality and host of The Baker Show, Baker Machado. Hey there, Baker. How you doing?
Good to see you. Good morning.
So before we get to what we are expecting from oral arguments tomorrow, how did we get here? Give us the nuts and bolts.
All right. So this had been debated upon between Republicans and Democrats. This was the one area that they actually found common ground on, as you mentioned, believing that ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, was a national security threat, with the idea that the Chinese government would have access to the algorithm or about U.S. users, which, of course, ByteDance and TikTok deny. So this was signed into law in April by the Biden administration, and it basically says that TikTok has until January to find a U.S. server operations to have all that American data stored or face an outright ban. That would essentially mean, if that went into effect, you would still be able to have TikTok on your phone, but you would no longer be able to download it from the App Store. You would no longer be able to get payments or marketing or monetization efforts or any of those things at all unless you use a VPN, and that obviously would cut off TikTok completely. Now, TikTok is going to, as you mentioned, go into the courtroom on Monday. The likelihood of this ban going into effect, though, seems pretty low. TikTok seems like they're going to appeal whatever that decision is going to be, likely all the way to the Supreme Court. So even if TikTok is in fact banned, this could take years and years and years to actually go into effect.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me how some lawmakers who have been so against TikTok have recently gotten on TikTok.
Yes, no, that's actually such a great point. Former President Trump was famously against TikTok for a very long time. He wanted to ban the app. Now he's on TikTok and in favor of keeping TikTok in the U.S. The Kamala Harris's presidential campaign also on TikTok. Joe Biden's team is also on TikTok as well.
Kamala Harris busy having her brat summer on TikTok.
Right, exactly.
She is. What would happen come January 19th? Would the app just disappear from people's phones?
So yeah, no, as I mentioned, yeah, you would still be able to have it on your phone, but let's just say you bought a brand new phone. You wouldn't be able to download it from the App Store. It'd be completely gone from the App Store. So you'd have to keep that same phone for as long as possible. You'd have to have a VPN to keep it going.
Got it.
But think of all the creators out there that make their living on this. They would no longer be able to get any sort of payments from TikTok whatsoever. Small businesses wouldn't be able to market anymore on that.
Look, I think there is a huge misconception. A lot of oldies out there especially think that it's just teenagers doing dances or people trying funny trends with food and stuff, but there are a lot of small businesses who really make their living almost completely online, actually, some of them. I'm going to hold you here, but I want to bring in a small business expert, Kenya Kelly, who's also a video marketing and social media strategist. Kenya, I've been following you for quite a while because I actually have my own small business, a little fitness business, and I come to you for tips. But how detrimental could this be to somebody like you, even, who makes a living on TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah, it's actually really huge because like there's so many different ways that you make money. Like me, I'm a service-based business where I'm a coach and I teach businesses how to use the app. So first of all, when they were talking about banning, we lost about $200,000 because people didn't know about investing into it. But then if it completely goes away, well, that's an entire arm of my business that goes away. But there's millions of business owners that make money every single day selling, whether it's their products or services. It is very detrimental to a lot of people in the U.S.
And I think another misconception, Kenya, is that, well, if TikTok goes away, then just get on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or somewhere else. But the audience doesn't necessarily translate, does it?
No, because it's a totally different app. Like the experience you have on TikTok is not the Instagram experience. I love Instagram, but it's just not the same. And for me, I have let's just say 500,000 followers on TikTok. I only have 30,000 on Instagram, which tells you that my content or who I am, people love it a little bit more over on TikTok than they do on Instagram.
So what are you recommending? Say I'm a baker or I own a flower shop or something, and I'm just going off on TikTok, but I'm not doing very well on Instagram Reels or YouTube. What is your recommendation? You know, you want to try to build up that audience in your email list probably too, hey?
Yeah, 100%. So one of the things that I'm telling business owners right now is that, first of all, don't jump off of TikTok just because of threat of a ban, but you want to put heavy emphasis on learning strategies to get people off of TikTok. So we always teach our clients how to build an email list. And so we do viral content and move people to the link in our bio. But one of the ways you want to do this is trying to use live stream. TikTok Live is a huge opportunity to tell people what you want them to do without the algorithm.
All right. Now, what do you think about even setting up multiple phones or your phone and your laptop or something? Maybe you could live stream on TikTok and somewhere else at the same time?
Yeah, well, that's actually what I kind of do right now. There's different apps out there where you can stream on multiple platforms at one time, but I also have TikTok downloaded on every single device of mine just in case they do ban that I can have access like for a while.
You are ready, Kenya. Baker, I want to bring you back in. There are roughly 170 million American users on TikTok, including yourself. You've got a following there, too. Support for the ban has declined in the past year as people start to get used to this, perhaps. So why do you believe politicians on both sides of the aisle are fighting for the ban?
I mean, it's interesting. Both the Harris team and the Trump team, except for Trump saying that he doesn't support the ban, nobody's talking about this in Washington anymore.
Yeah.
A year ago, this was the talk of the town throughout Washington. And as you just saw from that poll right there, the amount of people who supported the ban went from 50% to now just 32% in 1 year. And the numbers continue to go down even more. Now, most Americans are unsure right now if they support a ban or not. I think they still want to learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
But I think as more people continue to use the platform and they realize how the opportunities that they're able to make from this. I mean, just small businesses alone make $15 billion a year on TikTok.
Right.
I think people realize it's a bigger deal than just banning it.
Yeah, they feed their families off of this.
Right.
Kenya, I'm going to end this with you. Do you have a message for lawmakers?
Yes, leave TikTok alone. I think that lawmakers don't really understand what is happening there. I mean, I understand the threat of national security, but they really should just leave it alone. Just leave us alone.
Yeah, find a way to keep us safe, but also leave it alone in some ways. Right? That
Exactly.
algorithm just can't be replicated, it seems. Well, Baker Machado, Kenya Kelly, thanks for joining us. Great insight today.